Hello YouTube, welcome to a special video where we're going to react to the boss FFS Renekton. I haven't actually watched his Renekton other than just skimming through his VODs until I decided to watch this one. In this game, it seems like he scales pretty hard and he's able to pump some damage in fights, which is pretty important in competitive. This is a Scrim game. It's pretty important to consistently be able to carry fights when your team needs you to. That will make you a great Renekton in competitive if you're able to do that. But yeah, I want to talk about his build real fast before we get into the game. The boss builds a bit different than most Renektons. So he started playing Renekton 2 weeks ago, it seems like. He actually also has this game on YouTube versus Ambessa. I was thinking about taking a look at that one. It's edited down, so I wanted to do a full VOD first, so we had more time to react and talk about the build and stuff. But maybe we'll take a look at that one after we finish this first game. But the boss build's a little bit different than most Renektons. So for one thing, his setup, he goes full scaling. But the core of his build is Eclipse, which is very base, Eclipse, Shojin, and then most of the time it's Death Dance. In some games it's Cleaver, and more recently it's Cleaver. Sometimes he goes Maw versus AP champions. But most of the time, I guess not in these games. In most of the scrims I skim through, and this game is Death Dance, and then in some of these games it's Death Dance. I think all three of these items are S tier items on Renekton. I think Cleaver's slightly below. I used to be lower on Shojin. I'm higher on it now, especially after the alt buffs. I think I was probably wrong before. But one thing I wanted to mention before we get into the video is his rune setup. So we'll see here his rune setup in this game, and he was going this pretty much every game. Sometimes he would go Overgrowth instead of Demolish. But scaling HP, Legend Haste is scaling, which I think Legend Haste is really good. I think you should take it every game. But it is more scaling than Alacrity. Scaling HP. Haste Shard, which is also a scaling rune. It does outscale. It's useful early, but it outscales Adaptive Force, and Adaptive Force is much more useful early. And then Conditioning and Demolish are both scaling runes. Demolish does help you a little bit early game, potentially, but not before first base at the very least. And then he also goes Longsword start as well. So I think these last couple games, which were kind of rough for him, 1-10, 2-15, I would love to see how he won this game. I wish he was streaming it, and it's on an old patch, so I can't check. But 2-15 versus Jax is not ideal, and it kind of makes you think maybe I shouldn't go full scaling versus Jax. And if you check his runes, he had full scaling setup versus Jax. He had full scaling setup this game. And I feel like these two games might have changed his mind a little bit, because in his more recent games, you can see these two games, for example, he is not going full scaling. He's doing early game setup in the runes here, bone plating, flat HP, and then scaling Longsword and Legend Haste scaling. Demolish is like, you have to go scaling secondary in Resolve. I guess you could go unflinching. But like partially scaling, partially scaling, partially early game, which I think is a lot more balanced. It's what I would have recommended him to do. I think going full scaling every game is just way too much. You can scale on Renekton and still keep true to your most important identity of being strong early game. You can do both. You don't have to fully commit to one or the other. But yeah, he's been winning a lot on Renekton, like 82% win rate here in solo queue. This is a lower elo account, but still 80% win rate here. But especially before his last game, he had like one loss before this game. But this is the most base thing I have ever seen in my entire life, averaging 10 deaths per game on Renekton, less than 1 KDA, and he has an 80% win rate. So let's see what he's got for us. Let's see what he's got. Hello from the future, dear viewers. Just quickly saying that I actually put the second game first. I think it flowed a little bit better for this video. And also, I was incredibly sleep deprived while I made this video, but it actually went very well. So hopefully you don't notice at all. But if you're wondering why I might be slow a couple times, that would be why. Anyways, enjoy the video. Bye. Okay, Renekton versus Ambessa. So he has his full scaling setup in this game too. This was also from 2 weeks ago. I need like an updated game. So we're getting pushed. So I don't love with the full. I'm not gonna go back like too much. I'll mostly just pause. I mean, it's gonna be edited, so I'll have to at least pause. But I don't love playing this aggressive before our wave is even here to like cue the wave when we have full scaling setup. If you had D-Blade and you had like less of a scaling setup and more early aggression, I don't mind playing really aggressive into Ambessa, trying to get as much HP as possible, 2-wave crashing, and then letting it come back to you. I actually think it's pretty good. If you're going to do that trade, probably keep going until you get your second Q, though. I think stopped it a little too early.
I think Renekton's biggest strength is your low cooldowns early game. You can just spam your Q. You have no mana cost, you have no CDs.
Yes, yes. I mean, with your Q, you kind of auto win a lot of these melee matchups with your Q cooldown and the sustain. I'm actually surprised you took a tower shot there. Oh, there's no minions under. Yeah, that was really greedy to hit her. Always gonna take a tower shot there.
This guy still has potion.
I will say his biggest weakness early game is his cooldowns as well. Your E and W cooldown are pretty long.
Cookie, am I fucked?
Cookie gap. Okay, level 2 versus level 2 versus Ambessa is actually kind of hard when she goes W, because the shield just gives such an advantage. Can we get level up? Okay, dude. Oh, the Bluetooth auto.
Oh
Holy moly.
Oh my god.
The level up timing was like actually perfect. He was like waiting on it.
I got a recall.
I had that same kill versus Aatrox on stream not that long ago. But I flashed his Q3 at the same time while doing the Bluetooth auto.
A little bit scary.
The Bluetooth auto is nice. Somehow you end up like getting that solo kill on Renekton with the Bluetooth auto if you know how to do it like decently often. Okay, this was a nice Conquer 2 Qs. Conquer 2 Qs punish. This was good. So you Q right away. Wait, did he not Q? Oh, he just held his Q the whole time. I guess that works out. Would he have gotten 2 Qs off? Like, I would expect you to already Q, because a fundamental on Renekton is your Q cooldown, as you said, is really low, especially if you're going, you know, haste shard. So you want to Q at the very start of a fight and then stack your Conqueror and get another Q, especially an empowered Q, at the end of the fight, which wins you the fight. I don't actually know if he'd get to his second Q here though, so saving it was actually probably much better, because I don't even know if he gets to it.
Big.
If she's so mobile, she just dashes back like 4 times.
Got it warded, dumbass. How are you gonna gank this, huh?
What is Jarvan doing?
Oh fuck.
Oh, he actually just kills him. Okay.
I win it. Easy level 5. I can't, man.
You actually can win this as Renekton. If you can, it's kind of hard. You like need level 5, but versus Jarvan, if our cooldowns were closer, you actually kill Jarvan a lot in this situation. But we just didn't quite have cooldowns. Jarvan's like pretty squishy. It doesn't do the most damage early game. Not the best strain. It's pretty awkward. Does that get level 6? It does. Okay, so he was trying to get the level 6 bait. So level 6 bait is massive. Can't see exactly what happened, but I think queuing here is fine. It's just this creep. So he's last hitting to CS, but he actually should have been setting up this creep if he wanted to do this play. He probably didn't think Ambessa would actually fight him, because it's like pretty dumb for her to fight.
Bro, I am.
Yeah, you can't try to auto before your W versus Ambessa most of the time. She missed her Q. That would have been a brutal trade if she hit both Qs there. So this is the same thing as the last game. Again, this was 2 weeks ago. I don't know if he's like learned since then. I'll have to watch a more recent game. It's hard to get auto on her. I don't know if she has abilities, but just doing W is fine. We have just enough time before her bone plating. So WR, E, and And then if you need to, if you can't do EQ auto, you can do E auto Q and it would kill here. And then you can use your second E to get out of tower.
Little poke damage right there. Now I can go and get the plant in the river. Or we can just dive.
She had 6? I don't think so. She's like pretty far behind on XP.
Nice. Ooh.
All right. So using your ult to chunk someone out.
Am I good on Renekton? Because I'm
He's a
3-1
beast,
right
bro.
now, so
He's
I'm doing
what?
something right. One thing I do
He's
very often
3
with
and
Renekton
1?
is I don't value my health bar that much. I would like lose my health bar. When I'm go back to lane here, we're both on full health. My mindset will be like, oh, I stomp her, and then I'm gonna.
Yeah, no. You actually perfect. You have to get out of that habit as Renekton. You come back into lane. Your mindset is, I have no fury. I need to get fury without losing half my health. That's basically it. Unless you have ulti and you can just all in and you have all in pressure, like. I need to get fury without losing my health. I need to wait for my ult. That is the mindset when you come back into lane as Renekton. So you can do trades. It's not like you can't trade. It's not like you have to wait for your ult. You have to wait for fury. You just need to be careful with how you do it. And if you are behind, then like, yeah, without ult and without fury, you actually just can't trade. So coming back into lane and thinking I stomp them is actually like a really bad mindset as Renekton. You need to be thinking about your fury and your ult cooldown. The other thing I was going to say is using your ult to chunk someone out, to dive them, and then letting your ult give you fury, and then you either empower Q the wave and still have 50 fury after the dive, or you save 100 fury, especially if your jungler can tank for you after you got chunked out by tower, trading under tower and using your ult, is really important to be able to do as
my mindset
Renekton.
will be like, oh, I stomp her, and then I'm gonna take a trade that isn't very favored because of it. So I need to preserve my health more often, not take trades that are losing.
He still has
which
plant
might
up, I
sound
think.
very obvious, but
Unless
it's
Jarvan
not
took
obvious.
Yeah, like this trade kind of is what he's talking about. He might just kill her, but Jarvan could have showed up through lane here, so I don't love it. Yeah, there's the Jarvan. We win this with all, yeah? We get all in time? It's easy kill. Don't step back. Don't step back.
Come on.
There you go. There you go. So we got a little bit lucky here that this Ambessa doesn't know that she loses this. Because we kind of messed up the start of the trade. So the E here is good. But you need to stay Renekton. So Renekton is an awkward champion because you have to stay right on top of her here and just like predict what way she's going to go. You can't like play to auto or click the wrong way. And then you need to like Q and walk at her without autoing. Or else it gets awkward. But he does zone her into the lane. I just don't think he should necessarily do that when he doesn't have ult.
Like that trade. Because
she shouldn't be like auto attacking him here, you know? She should either just full run away or even like ult him to disengage and just take the HP trade. Unless she's baiting for Jarvan, which apparently she wasn't.
Come on. Who you ganking, huh? I'm the Croc.
Yes, sir.
B. Biggest thing with Renekton is that your AD scalings are insanely
The Swifties.
high. Like highest AD scalings
Big,
you can imagine in the game. So you just have to buy AD items. Honestly, it would be good
And
to buy
he does.
lethality, Renekton. Not even kidding.
He does have some lethality games. Actually, I want to look at his lethality games real fast. Sorry for ruining the immersion in this game so much, but his lethality build is did this versus Vayne. So I assume Edge of Night Rush. He's going opportunity instead of Yumu's, and he went an Umbral Glaive. I think that is completely insane and not very good, to be honest. So the thing about Renekton is he's not the best assassin in the game, building purely assassin, because he doesn't get on to range characters that well. But he is the best assassin at killing frontliners. That is Renekton's thing with building full AD or building like lethality. Especially because you can go Bork in your build, and then you are not only one-shot squishies, but you can kill frontliners. So that's why lethality of Renekton can work really well. You know what? Whatever. We saw the build. I don't love it. I don't love it. You really need Yumu's or Voltaic too for the either the slow or the move speed utility. I don't love opportunity, Edge of Night, Umbral would, to be honest. Even though I think he's just trying to build the most damage possible, but I think he's getting baited by Renekton's AD. AD ratios. Oof.
Oh, what the fuck is his tower damage?
So we're fighting. We're just too aggressive without ults. I think he was going. Maybe he was going for the demolish proc. I don't know. But definitely a bit aggressive without ults. Okay, easy 1v2, just alt Q. Yeah, we can always one shot the Jarvan here. Oof.
There's 4 people top.
Okay, so how we 1v2 this? To me, in my mind, easy 1v2. Jarvan wants to lead with his cooldowns. Did he save his EQ? I don't know. But you have 2 options. Either try to one-shot Jarvan and be happy with the 1 kill, or play to potentially kill both of them. And how we're going to do that, Jarvan does have his EQ, so we don't really want to play to one-shot him. But you always have to ult here. So if they just walk away and let you just ult, and then you have to leave, and they don't fight you through your ult, that's fine. But you always have to ult. So we're going to ult, auto, and then we have empowered Q. And we want to try to empowered Q both. So ult, auto, empowered Q, boom. We empowered Q both. We stack our Conqueror. And now if Jarvan moves into us and doesn't EQ right away, we're gonna mess him up. If he EQs out, that's like totally fine. But Jarvan didn't jump out, so then we would E on Jarvan, empower W. We would have enough Fury for empower W at that point after our E, especially since we would get below half HP. And then we're gonna empower W Jarvan, and then our Q starts to come back up, and then you get empowered Q. And you're like actually immortal while also one-shotting with Jarvan. But then Jarvan gets his Q back up.
4 people top.
And it's doomed. But you always want to play for 2 empowered Qs in these 1v2 situations for the most part. It doesn't always have to be empowered, but you either want to play to one-shot someone, or you want to play to get 2 empowered Qs off, or both. In that situation, we could have done both. We don't have ult yet. Braum is really annoying. We dead. Classic Renekton experience. Walk in, get CC'd, die. With no ult. With no ult, it's a little easier for that to happen.
I mean, I'm looking to get first tower here.
Okay. Look at the damage. Dude, building full damage items is OP, man. It is OP. Like, look at this, because you're not even squishy. You're actually not squishy. Power W, E forward, boom, perfect.
Solo bolo.
Solo bolo.
That's what you call the fast W combo on Renekton. You wanna get 50 rage. Once you have 50 rage, you will W, and then you will W your opponent, and then mid W you will press R, and then you will animation cancel your own R. That's like the one mechanic to the champion. That is like one mechanic. I guess.
He just did fast EQ.
That's like the one mechanic to the champion.
See that timing, and see how you get this like weird, in this case, purple blade thing. That is fast Q after E. So if you did an auto attack right now, you would do the AAQ cancel, EQ AA cancel, also known as Panther combo, and your auto attack would go off like instantly. If you can do that consistently on Renekton, your mechanics are cracked. It's the other one mechanic on Renekton. So you actually you have to make sure you ulti right at the start of your W, or it doesn't really cancel anything. If you do it like halfway through, which some, just saying this for like, you know, new Renekton players, some people are too slow with the R. You want to make sure that you're ulting at the start of your W, so that you actually cancel as much of your W as possible. Because if you do it like a little bit slow, you're not really going to be canceling much of your W. Because there's still an R animation. It's not instant. You still have to actually do the ult animation.
So that's what you call the...
Wait, let me see. Okay, let me see the rest of this. So we got auto W off. That was quick. And then auto E. The E was a little slow. You can do it much faster than that. And then wait, auto Q is like totally fine.
Solo bolo. Well, I guess.
All right, some
like
team fights. It's team fight time. Let's see it. What are we? 2.5 items? Just 2 items? Okay, we went Shojin. We had an extra longsword. Classic building Shojin and building an extra longsword. I do it every time. Because why can't it just build out of one more longsword, man? Or why can't it build out of CDR? Such a weird build. What if it was like pickaxe, double longsword, kindle gem? I don't know. Probably not. Okay, double dash in. We don't have ult again. So, yeah. I think this is going to be fine because we have Swifties and she has no flash.
Seriously?
Yeah, it's a Swifties gap. Yeah, okay. No ulti makes fighting on Renekton hard. So we come in with no ults. Committing straight in when there's mage on one side, mage on the other side is kind of scary when you don't have ult. But I think if he just played in the pit here, he'd be totally fine. It would have been a lot better. Oh my god, they're so low. It's a Swifties gap again. Swifties gap. Look at the Eclipse proc. You see that? Eclipse proc off your ult and Q is like so nice. It's so nice. It's like the best feeling.
Boom, boom, boom. Oh, I give it to you, MF. Okay.
He's doing damage, bro.
Now I need Black Cleaver next item. That Nivea was worth 1k gold. I should not have given it. Imagine if I got 1k gold. I would be balling.
Okay, again, we don't have ult, so it's kind of hard. It just played out. That's good. You're really hard to kill. Dude, side lane, when you have this much CDR, like how much CDR do we actually have? We have Shojin, so we have, I'm not going to count the 2 difference. We have 50, and then we have Legend Haste. So we have 65, 63. 63 haste with E-Max, you're like actually unkillable inside. Unless they have like CC chain. You just always E away, E away, E away.
I'm gonna stay for one more wave. She's coming. Can I not just kill her?
I don't think he can kill it. With W max, this would be a bit closer, but Ambessa is so tanky, man.
I'm trolling.
Yeah.
The tower was still charged. How long does the charge stay for?
Trying to do this on Renekton, like, versus someone that's somewhat tanky is too hard. Versus squishier champions, you can do it a little bit better. But basically, Tabby's too OP, and you need W max. But even with W max, like, Tabby's too OP. So you can, like, W, poke them under tower, get a clip shield, back up, walk back up, W again, and you can keep doing it as many times as you need to set them up. But yeah, when all your power's in your E, you're a lot weaker under enemy tower because actually using your E takes too much time.
First tower shot. My bad, I threw here.
He made the game interesting, okay? So we went Cleaver third this game instead of Maw. They do have 2 mages, so he could go Maw here. But getting armor pen is like not a bad thing. Surprised he didn't go Death Stands actually. I forgot he didn't go like a resist item second, like last game. I think Death Stands with Shojin is actually better third. I actually like really like it over Cleaver because you already have so much CDR too. I think just getting tanky is really nice.
What the fuck?
This is the classic mid-game Renekton experience actually.
And then
well, boss is gonna scale because he's getting his farm, so it doesn't matter if you int mid game as long as you scale. So we're 3 items. We're not level 16 though, but we are ahead in XP. I mean, you're never gonna be level 16 at 19 minutes, but I'm just saying that's like the scale that we're looking for. Rel is such a crazy champ, man. We actually died. Damn.
I queued. What?
I think it maybe queued too early. No, it's up the whole time. Just after. Let me see this fight. Just kill Braum here. So people don't realize how good Renekton is at killing frontline. If we just walk up to this Braum and press W right now before he presses his shield, we actually do so much of his health. And then we're going to kill Braum. And Rel can still combo these people. And it's all like pretty good. We can probably kill...
What?
We can probably kill another person too. But using both of your dashes to get onto someone that can flash away pretty much always goes like that. You get CC'd and die.
Nice. All right. We should get Drake now. That's the win.
If they can flash away, you usually only want to use one dash.
Champion counters me. I'm gonna look.
Unless there's no tower there, then it would be fine because you could just flash.
What happened to your hair?
Okay, Swifties. Just too close to tower now. He might kill, but it's kind of sketch now.
On me.
If he wanted to flash on her, he needed to do it before his last E. Does he live this? I think he lives this now. He E's away. Oh, he's in. Oh, she didn't have ult. Okay.
Oh.
Dude, look at the Q heal.
What's up, Dan? What's up? Huh? Ambessa coming.
Does Shojin just increases damage, right?
I'm aware that I'm dead.
Got the wave base.
Yeah, I know I'm dead. I saw Ambessa coming. I traded one for. This is big.
1v1 got the wave, pumping up our XP. That's worth. So he can kill this. I just don't think it's worth using flash. But in this case, like Atacon is topside and they're all collapsing on him, so it's actually very worth. But if he wants to kill this, just flash E now instead of using this E. Because then you're actually fighting like away from tower, and you'll never die here.
I'm
if Ambessa had ult. If Mel had ults. He's coming. They're all gone. Oh. Dude, eating over walls with Renekton, it happens, man. It happens. These walls are fat and ugly. Okay, it's not your fault.
Oh.
That's unlucky.
Big. There's no objective.
These season 15 walls are messed up, okay?
This guy's one hand.
They're messed up.
Let's not be greedy. If I dive her, I will die. And sometimes it's better to just play it safe and back off. You know?
Words of wisdom, man. Sometimes it's good to back off and play it safe. The boss, 2025. Dude, Melroot is so annoying.
Well, I didn't do much. She doesn't know.
Okay, party.
Big
nice.
damage.
It's probably better to save ult here. If she has any backup, he doesn't kill. So that was nice. I like how he played that.
Drake should be free. Oh no, Scrim went in. Why would you go in?
We don't have flash yet. Oh, the MF fault.
Ah.
We go back on Jarvan?
I'm getting the king.
Did you still get him? Ah. I think he needed to go back on Jarvan earlier. This Jarvan's gonna fucking live, man. Where's Jarvan going?
Really?
Wow, we actually died there.
What is Ambessa damage?
I don't know. What is that champion? She always blows my mind. Can she take damage? Oh, just empower W. Just empower W her shield, man. Just empower W her shield while she's jumping around fucking everywhere. I've already used my E1, and then I can't use Empower W because she jumped out of range. But if I use Empowered E, then I don't have Empower W. And then I'm in range, but then she has her shield, and I don't do any damage. And then I try to disengage, and she ulties me and one-shots me.
Really?
I hate this champ, bro.
Yeah.
She's so annoying. She's so OP. Like, you win lane, but she's just so annoying. It's just really hard to force plays in her, like, even if you're really strong.
Oh, 07.
Okay, do we have our Ma yet?
I feel like I'm so squishy all these fights. With Tabi, maybe? I'm not sure.
Tabby makes
honestly, these days Renekton is more a scaling champion than early game champion anyways. Like right now,
Ambessa especially.
Massive. It's disgusting.
Like I like the idea of Swifties in Ambessa
W in power, that's
when she first came out, but
stuns them.
But yeah, you kind of just have to go Tabby every time versus her. Her autos do so much damage.
Look at that, I push top, TP bot, so we push everywhere. They cannot answer all lanes at once. We will get something from this.
So they have Ocean Soul with
I
Atacon.
can't push versus Nivea.
I actually like never think about the Atacon buffing up the other things. It feels so irrelevant most of the time. All right, does he kill Braum?
It's too deep.
It is a little deep.
It's way too deep. I should be fine.
Okay, it's chilling. The Ocean Soul, man. You could eat to the right.
It's gonna go bot.
Up. Okay, tier 2.
We end here or what? I have ulti up again.
All right, let's see it. They don't have any engage up, so it's kind of tough. Oh shit!
I'm in.
That was nice.
Heal.
They killed more.
Oof.
Dude, the Ocean Soul with Atacon is actually making him immortal. Let's see this. Let's see the combo, shall we? E around the Mel. What is it? The Mel E. Alt E flash. Alt E flash Q. Fast Q. You can see the fast Q. Damn.
I'm in. Heal.
He's clean with it. I think here you don't W, just start walking away and E away, probably.
Oof.
That was a nice combo. That was pretty good.
GG.
GG, very nice.
That's the croc. That is the croc right there. Very nice.
That is the croc.
Nice.
Bombadiro
If I stop feeding on this champion, I might
Crocodilo.
actually be the gold on it. I just did a little bit of feeding, but that's kind of like all of my champions.
Dude, feeding on Renekton's base though. Let's see what he's got. Also, I thought this was kind of funny, so let's put the audio here.
How's top lane?
Objectives. No chance on that guy. Feel free to stun him with anything. He's crazy. A little bit crazy.
Just tell me that you're first timing this match.
He's thinking.
I'm winning.
He's
But not
winning.
early
Okay.
game.
Winning, but not early.
Wait, I'm gonna spear him, okay? Let me dance. Actually, I wanna see how you wanna deal with the match.
Base.
Yo, help me out here.
That's base. It'd be messed up. Dude, in a scrim game, spearing someone while they're dancing, that's so messed up, actually. That'd be so BM. But yeah, he was thinking about going D-Shield this game. He like went back and forth buying D-Shield compared to Longsword. This game I also wanted to watch because I was very interested to see how he plays versus a matchup he might actually have some ideas about. Despite what people think, playing the opposing champion and playing the opposing champion matchup into the champion you're now playing, the knowledge doesn't quite transfer. There's like no muscle memory there. You have some vague idea, but then you actually go into the game and you can't execute it at all. So he might have some ideas about how he wants to play this matchup, but doesn't mean he's necessarily experienced with this matchup. So that's a nice Q-tap, get his bone plating. We're trying to contest push here. It's hard versus Gragas to contest. You get push early versus Gragas, but it's hard to actually meaningfully poke him out. I personally go fully aggressive setup versus Gragas. I go PTA with Ignite. Obviously, this is competitive, so you're not trying to go Ignite. I just play solo queue. But I go PTA, and I actually go W start, and I just played a W buffer into his E, and then level 2, you have a lot of kill pressure with W, E, Ignite, and PTA. But this is a really nice start. That's a really nice Q taps. So it's a good start, but it doesn't usually transfer into anything against Gragas. He's able to just sustain and stay alive and be fine and get his resets off. So we'll start to see the sustain come through as we're just crashing waves into him. This is a really nice start though. I really like the way he's Q-tapping on Gragas off cooldown. His haste shard is also helping him with that. He's coming up at perfect cooldowns. So he went 2 points Q here. I think it's fine, but it's usually only relevant on that Q because unless you're slow pushing a 4th wave, which was more relevant before they changed the minions, it's better to have W here and be able to buffer it into his E. So I don't usually like going 2 points Q in really any matchup ever since they changed the minion waves, and you're never slow pushing the 4th wave because it's only really relevant in front of their tower when you're slow pushing in. Okay, so we have W online now. We also have Nidalee topside. She finished her full clear, so we're chilling versus enemy jungle. Not that they would really kill us anyways. It's Maokai, Gragas. We're keeping our HP high. This Gragas didn't really try to trade with us after we got push. But we are absolutely chilling while having longsword start and full scaling. So it seems like it was pretty chill to go full scaling this game. I don't think the Gragas played things amazing. I think he if he knew what he was doing, he could have played a little bit more aggressive. But I do think just going Q start and not playing to kill the Gragas. Oh, we're doing an all-in. Oh my god. What happened here? Let's see it. We got insta-canceled after our auto attack. I don't know if he thought Gragas was still down or what. But he would actually have the damage to kill Gragas there if he didn't get insta-canceled after the auto attack. I think he would have to bait it out. He does need that auto damage, so he can't just skip it. We're saving TP. The wave is coming back into us. Man, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, Q start. So the thing I don't love about Q start instead of W start, the reason I play so aggressive with W start is because Gragas, if you don't get a lead early, can get really, really tough. He just out sustains you and out damages you in the short trade. So we'll have to see how this goes, because being behind versus Gragas is tough. It's also the reason I really don't like starting D shield, because while if the Gragas is good, D shield can be really helpful early. After your first base, you really need damage to be able to kill him. So having longsword refill, I actually think is much better than having D shield, and I think it's comparable to having D blade, especially with how the early lane went when there's not a ton of trading. It's like totally fine to have refill instead of D blade. Okay, Gragas is going to try to proxy here. There's not a lot we can do. Oh, he doesn't proxy. He's stunned under tower. So there was the W buffer. This is our first W buffer into Gragas E. That's the biggest part of the matchup, is being able to do that. Very nice. Gragas ideally wants to E from a medium range, and he wants to try and bait out your W. Gragas E is obviously much lower cooldown than our W, so we need to be patient for it to come back up. But now when it is down, when Gragas E is down, we can play very aggressive with our E's. We get the wave out, and now we can go for plant coming up, or we just go for proxy. Maokai is bot side as well. Should be able to do this. He might be able to force our ult, but we could potentially kill him here. It's too scary. Under tower, since the wave already got to tower. What was the other thing I was saying? I don't remember. Let's just roll with this. So I like to start maxing W at this point, so I can just spam W's into his E. And my W cooldown actually starts to catch up with Gragas' E cooldown. So that trade should not work. Gragas should always be able to E you faster than you're able to do that. You have to be very careful with trying to E into him. Okay, nice. We got all but one. That's super worth it. Play for E. Okay. You can either drag the wave and play for 2 Qs and save your E, or you can just E the minions. This is a really nice gank play. Going around a potential ward, going around Maokai. It's kind of hard. Okay, nice. I think Gragas should have just ultied early and for damage and then stall out for his E cooldown, and I don't think this would have worked. But I do think boss needed to just go, because I feel like Gragas would expect him to wait a tiny bit longer. And we're just trying to avoid Gragas buffering his ulti into our W and hitting us in the tower at the same time. So I think the timing that he went is good. I think even if Gragas got the ult timing and was able to trade 1-for-1, it would still be worth it for us. So good play. But Gragas wants to E from a medium range. That way he's not getting too close where Renekton gets his W off no matter what, if he's really close. But he is he's not too far away where it's easy to just react to the Gragas E and get your W buffer. You're kind of forced to predict his E. See, there he's too close. You're forced to predict his E, which means that he can not E, and he can bait out your W cooldown. And then it goes on long cooldown where you don't actually get to use it. Unless you use it on a creep, where if you have Fury, it's quite bad. Okay, so there, if Gragas had E, we would buffer W. That was really nice. So we're trying to just force push here. I don't know if this is going to work. Yeah, Gragas gets his E off in time. I think Gragas misplayed this. I don't think we should have actually got Q off. So this was really greedy. Trying to force waves while you don't have flash to outplay and you don't have ulti is really, really hard. I think it works out, and it's really good that it worked out. But the problem with Renekton is this right here is a really bad situation to be in, where you're relying on getting this empowered Q on him, and a really good player will just space out this Q. Instead of going for this auto, if Gragas walks around to get behind us to zone us, and I believe he gets ult before us. I'm actually not sure. Maybe it's the same cooldown. I'm not sure. But if he like walks around and waits for his cooldowns, it's scary. But luckily we got Q off, even though we got E up as well. Like, Gragas actually got E before us as well. So him walking around wasn't even relevant. This was actually fine by him. But if he just E'd here and walked straight away, we wouldn't get this Q off, and Gragas could freeze. So him getting a freeze and us not chunking him out with empowered Q would be pretty rough. It ends up being okay. We have to use our TP to get back to lane, and now we have ulti. And with ulti, you're totally fine. It's just in the periods where you don't have ult, you want to be very careful. So you either have to end up using your TP, or you need to sort of play slow, potentially get pushes in. It depends on how your opponent is playing, or give them push. It kind of depends. Okay, we have flash coming up as well. I don't know if... I don't think Maokai Gragas can kill us if we're playing it slow. Okay, I don't like that E. He's playing to get push in, but yeah, Gragas can ult and kite around, and trading ults is more useful for the Gragas. So I think the Gragas misplayed it here. I don't think this was good. But this E forward, I don't think we needed to do this. I think we could just walk forward, play without our E, and play for a W buffer. It would be a bit better. We had a full Conqueror Q there. I think, again, Gragas could have spaced out our Q, and then it'd be pretty tough. But now we just wait for W. Okay, we bait his E. That works. I guess we're not playing to dive this. We have the damage, right? I think, let me look at Gragas' HP. So right now, I'm thinking W's up in 9. I'm just stalling for it, and then I'm flash W'ing him and killing. Gragas is regenning a lot, and he's pretty tanky, but as long as our ult is still going, we have the damage to kill during stun. With flash and power W, EQ auto, we'd be able to kill. Oh, man. We might end up dying here. Okay, let's look at the combo. So keep in mind, he's been playing Renekton for 2 weeks. This is at the start of the 2 weeks. So I don't actually know what his Renekton mechanics look like now. So if we did this while our ult was up and did it under tower, this would work. Like, Gragas would be lower and our ult would give us the extra damage. But this can work too. So flash W, I think we're a little out of range when we did it. Maybe not. I'm not sure. Gragas, with that little bit of time, could potentially E away, and that would be really bad for us. But flash W. Now what you want to do is you want to EQ auto quickly. If you E and time your Q at the end of your E, it'll do a fast animation and allow you to auto during your Q. And that's really fast. The other thing you can do is you can do auto Q and just E here. So just auto Q and then 1 E forward. And I think it would kill, but he did the E too slowly. It needs to be auto Q E, like, really quickly. And then you get the E damage. I'm not 100% sure it'd kill. I think it would. But the reason that EQ auto is better is because you can get your second E off after the auto, all during the stun. It's really OP. Okay, he's got his full Eclipse, though. He has 93 CS at 10 minutes. So he's dropped, like, pretty much no CS. It's crazy how he's able to do that while things are like so messy, you know? It's actually really, really nice. Because as Renekton, like you don't have to kill your opponent. If you farm at a high level, and you get a couple plates, and you're not feeding the enemy jungler, like you get really strong on this champion. Like, so now that we have Eclipse, we can play a lot more aggressive. I think even here, like once you get Eclipse versus Gragas, you are really strong in your trades if you can W buffer. Without W buffer, it's a little bit harder. We're going to probably play behind melees here. I don't know. So we're just going to play for the wave. Powered Q. Okay, nice. Okay, Maokai's mid. So you see how much poke Gragas starts to do if you don't know how to W buffer? It gets really tough. Because then you get a trade on him while his E is down, and then he just ults you, and then he gets E again. Oh, we W'd a bit early here. Let's see this. How much Fury do we have? He forces our ults. Oh, I'm actually not sure. Let me speed it up and slow it down. It's hard to pause play because it like hides the bar. I can slow it down. 49, dude, classic. I thought he was going to auto W here because he's in the bush. So from the bush, you can just auto W here. Because it's very unlikely that Gragas... I don't think Gragas even had E up yet. I'm not sure, but it's unlikely that he just blind E's the bush. But yeah, Renekton scales really hard as long as you're like maxing out your XP and your farm and you're hitting your item spikes. Okay, we're going to play for Grubs maybe. We got a heal from Nidalee. So this part of the game, even if we did max W second, which I really like doing versus Gragas, or first rather, I like to go 3 points Q in a W max versus Gragas. It's like the only matchup that I still consistently do that in, so I can match his E cooldown. So at this point in the game, you get your W fully maxed out as soon as you hit level 10. So on the next wave, he would be able to completely match Gragas's E cooldown with his W cooldown, and that just completely changes the matchup around and makes it so much easier if you're good at W buffering. But again, if you don't actually know to W buffer, then it's not going to be as good, and you're just going to be missing sustain, which is going to make it harder. Yeah, that action is really fed. Looks like we're winning bot though. I didn't see how strong the junglers are. So Maokai's red is spawning, so I assume he's going to be topside. Okay, so we need Fury and then try to W buffer. Okay, we can double dash this. It's more worth to not lose CS. So we could double dash on Gragas there and get a pretty good trade, but I guess he would just ult us into his tower. I don't think we would die since his E was down, but just not missing CS and looking to proxy is probably the better play. Okay, he dodged the he tried to bait the Gragas E, but then he was able to dodge it anyways. So Gragas wants to force our ult without having to ult himself, but his damage, dude, his build is so low damage. I don't think that Gragas build is good versus Eclipse Renekton at all, because you can never force Renekton's ulti, but Renekton still does a ton of damage to you because of Eclipse procs, while like basically not taking any damage because of Eclipse procs. So I really don't like the low damage Gragas build into Renekton unless you're actually going to go like tank, like actually tank. But the Rod of Ages, I would prefer if we weren't really playing the proxy and we were playing the W buffer and like really punish this matchup, because I think we're just so much stronger than him. But we are level 11 now. That's a big spike for us. And we finished our call. Big. Our cool is complete. Dude, boss is actually like a nuclear RTO on Renekton. He actually, like, you know, he's got the cool, he's playing full scaling. And if he keeps going with Renekton, I expect him to have monster mechanics at some point. So that's the nuclear part. He has 143 CS at 14 minutes, which is very, very good. So he's going Maw second this game. I think you could just go Shojin. But he does like going Maw in some of his builds. I think he stopped building it as much recently. I think of the items he builds, Maw is probably the weakest. But with conditioning, it synergizes, and obviously he's against double AP topside, and even Bard, who will be roaming, does magic damage. So it's not terrible to go Maw. I liked it better. I like it better fourth in some of the games he goes it. Okay, we space Gragas. That's nice. The thing about Maw is that it's a damage item. Maw doesn't really make you tanky anymore like it used to. If you get lucky and fights are just like to the death versus an AP champion where they're not spacing out your Maw at all, I think our Fury actually dropped there. One of the hardest things to get used to, and a mistake I'm making a ton right now, is the timing of when your Fury is going to drop. So this is an awkward situation because if we pop our ult, as soon as we pop our ult, Gragas just ults us away or even just walks away. So we're trying to save our ult as much as we can. And again, if Gragas built more damage, we would have to actually ult a lot earlier to be able to do this without dying. And then Gragas would just go back to farming under tower, and we would be down an ult. So we'd be a lot less useful on our TP or when we come back to lane into a skirmish. Okay, so we're actually TPing to Dragon. We have mega tempo here. He's bossing the waves with his proxy. So we have mega tempo for this. So it's pretty free. He's looking to cheese action. Okay, it was a free Dragon. So he just pinged top wave. Like, there's no enemy top wave right now that would have already crashed in the tower, but there's no enemy top wave, so you're not losing a wave here, which is why the TP is good. But also, like, you kill Dragon and then you put your top laner bot lane away from the now Rift Herald as the objective, and you switch up the map, which is another reason that the TP play is actually even good. So let me go back. The way he clears his wave. So most Renektons do not do this. First of all, with the Fury he has, I think he could just E in the range creeps and then Q with unempowered Q and probably and he would kill them. And I don't think he would get empowered Q. He might have to dodge some of the melees. I'm not sure. But the way that I do it is I walk forward, Q all the creeps, walk forward, and E backwards, and all the range creeps die, especially with Emax, like at every point in the game. Emax and building like the raw AD build he's building. And then you just need one auto to kill all the melee minions after you E the melee minions as well. And then you get to keep Fury, and you do have to auto all the melee minions and then auto cannon like one extra time. But it's really worth it to have 50 Fury here. Like, having 50 Fury for this dive is really, really, really important. Because yeah, they don't actually kill him. They just go for tower. Maybe they couldn't kill him without, like, anyways, because maybe he's too tanky and he would always get away. I'm not sure. But yeah, it's really, really important to have 50 Fury after we push the waves. Okay, pause. So what was the other thing I was talking about? I was talking about the AD. I was talking about Maw. Maw is a damage item. Like, Maw is 60 AD. It's a 60 AD item. And then Eclipse is a 60 AD item. And then what is... Death Stance is also 60 AD, right? Used to be 70. Yeah, Death Stance is also 68. Dude, I miss 70 AD Eclipse, 70 AD Death Stance. Like, oh my god, it was so nice. It was even Maw was 70 AD at one point. That's crazy. But yeah, we're just building like so much flat AD with these items, and then you combo Shojin on top of that with the 12% increase in damage on our abilities with our high AD ratios, and it's just like a really heavy AD build. So it's like pretty nice. I could have skipped forward on some of that pause, but we're talking about AD, bro. We got a lot of AD. Does Gragas actually end up dying for... Nice. Okay. Very nice. So they actually end up killing him. I don't know. Why did he end up in Dragon? How did that happen? Oh, man. Okay. I don't think we can really take this tower or anything, but maybe we can chunk it out a little bit. We need a bit more gold for our Maw. Okay, we're going to mid fight. Looks decent. They used a lot of cooldowns. Okay, action, no swing. I guess they just portal out. Oh, Bard actually didn't have Q in time. So boss eing to the portal actually got him through the portal in time to potentially get that Bard kill. They didn't end up getting it. I thought maybe for a second he could pop off there and like carry if his team's getting focused, but It was just auto loss fight. Okay, so we're going bot. We lost some CS for this. How much can they actually push mid with Rift Herald? We don't have a cannon here, so when you don't have a cannon wave, you can never take towers, even with Demolish. You need to have a cannon wave, unless it's like far later in the game where you have like Trinity or something and 3 grubs, then it's kind of close. Especially with 3 grubs, it's kind of close, especially because of Void Might. So 2 item spike for Renekton, level 13. So for level 13 is a huge spike for Renekton. So the biggest spikes in the game for Renekton are level 6, level 11, level 13 is sometimes a bigger spike than level 11, just because the cooldown of either your E or your W gets so low that you're able to do like a lot extra in fights and you can absolutely pop off. And then level 16, 3 items. So level 13, 2 items, and level 16, 3 items. You are actually a god on Renekton. Like, people don't think of Renekton as a scaling champion because at full build, hold on, let's watch this fight. So we're just clearing the wave. Okay, I think we could have baited this out though. But at full build, you do not scale compared to scaling champions. Scaling champions out scale you. They do more damage than you, and they outrange you at full build. But 3 items and 4 items with level 16, you're very strong. But then when people start getting full build and they're a scaling champion, then they outscale you. So that's how Renekton scaling actually works. So I think we could play this out. So we don't have Death Stance here and we don't have Tabby, so it's a little scary. I don't know if we know where Jhin is. I wasn't really watching, but I don't think Jhin is here. Action does a lot of damage to Renekton when he doesn't have Tabby. Like, Action actually melts us. But I do not think that they can actually, like, this Bard portal. I think if we walk here and we try to play this out into Bard, I think there's a lot more we can do. We can probably bait this out and Blitzcrank can probably reach. So I would have liked to see us walk up to Bard and see what we could do there. Get Maokai flash though. What in the world was Action doing? Okay, we found W onto him. Perfect. I'm not going to skip back too much, but I was confused how Action ended up there. That was kind of crazy. Very nice to just flash W him when Action's mobility is down. It's perfect. Maybe they can go for another hook because Maokai has no flash. Ooh, I don't know if we kill. Yeah, we do. Nice. We're just barely out of tower range. I think the other thing about Emax right now. Oh, Jinol. I don't think it kills anything. The other thing about Emax over Wmax second right now, regardless of not building Stridebreaker, I think you get so much CDR with Legend Haste and then building all CDR items that even with your W not maxed out, even without points in it, it is the more important spell than E is for the most part. If you don't have W in some situations, you're like actually useless. It kind of depends. But basically, you build so much CDR and get so much CDR from Haste Rune that your W cooldown is actually not too long. It's not that bad. Like, you're still not gonna have it for, you know, close fights where you need it quickly at all, but something like chasing that Maokai was up in plenty of time. And I think at 2 and 3 points in W at level 14 and 15, what I'm talking about is a lot more relevant. Okay, we clear the wave and then end up with Fury. That's really good. It's really important to end up with Fury after we kill the last wave that we're going to kill in side wave, or at least the last uncontested wave we're going to kill in side wave, so that you're roaming around with Fury. We could have hit Plant there, but we're just going to hit Dragon, so we don't need to keep up our Fury with Plant. So this is fine. So what, W's like just under 8-second cooldown with 2 points in it? Use it again. I think he's saving his Fury. Oh, he's not saving his Fury. Okay. So we're going for Death Stance next, which I like. Death Stance versus Jhin in Action is going to make us, like, Death Stance level 16, we're going to be so strong. Every time we have flash up, they actually, like, can't play the game. Unless they get a situation where they're able to, like, fully DPS us down without help, they, like, actually can't play. So this was a nice trade. If you're able to actually hit Gragas with your E and he's not able to cancel it, see how he's, like, behind a creep? If he's not able to cancel your E, you can catch him with the second one, which is really nice. This should have been Q and then Empower W. Our team is dying in our base. Is a bit tough. He had a W buffer here. W buffer? I think he tried. Yeah, you can see he tried. So we can't ult here because we don't have flash, and Gragas has ult. So that's why we're saving our ult. But it's totally fine. Okay, so they actually made some good plays and came back into the game a bit. We're playing Nidalee Blitzcrank. So being behind with Nidalee Blitzcrank Renekton is pretty rough. It's definitely not good. You definitely want to be ahead with those picks. So we'll have to see how the game goes over the next like 5 to 10, probably over the next 5 minutes, and trying to get like an early Baron. Because after that point, if they're behind versus those champs, it's tough. Although I haven't really seen Action in a competitive setting. I think Action is mostly early game champion as well. I think he also requires a lead, and he's just so short range later in the game that it's not the same as if, like, I don't know, they had like a fed Tristana or something and they were playing Tristana Maokai combo. That would be really hard to play against with these champs. But Los Ratones is, I assume, much better than who they're playing against right now, just based off the Gragas' play. I don't know who this other team is. Okay, so we don't have flash right now. We're making a move for mid tower. Our team has control over mid. They either want to invade or look to hit mid. Just looking for an invade play, trying to contest Raptors. They're basically just trying to make something happen over their vision right now. If they can. If they can't, it's fine. Just go catch waves. So we're just farming our level 16. So that wasn't great for us because we didn't get anything from it, and we gave a bit of XP. We got some XP mid, but I think we shared most of it. But we just want to be farming while our flash is down, and we're trying to get level 16. And we're honestly like, when is next dragon spawning? Because we're honestly getting pretty close to. Let's see if we can W buffer this. Just a little chunk. I think it's better to just walk in and see if you can maybe W buffer and get an extended trade. These Gragas just throws his ult. I think we're chilling here. We don't have W up yet. Okay, we just trade the kill. We try to trade the kill. We get Bard queued. So normally, this is why like W max is better a lot of the time, because if you just have W up for this TP, the situation becomes kind of simple. But without it, it becomes kind of hard. You're like forced to all in this. Wow, that Bard Q. So I think we had to double E here just because of the Bard. I mean, we could have disengaged that. It just looked good. It looked like we could kill the Gragas, but he still had flash, so it was tough. Without W max, it was tough there. So they're trying to play on top wave. I don't know if they want to dive tier 2. I think it could work here if they actually have numbers. Maybe they're saying not to fight dragon and to play top. I'm not sure exactly what they're looking for, but we have Death Dance soon. We have level 16 soon. We'll be really strong. So we're actually going for a fight here while Varus is in base. I mean, it could work. It's kind of tough, though. Okay, kill support. So in this situation, like you always think of like jungle as a higher priority target and like Bard's is tank too. But whoever is just most overextended, you definitely want to go for. And Renekton is actually really good at one-shotting support. Like a tank jungle, you don't really do any damage to, especially without cleaver. And you usually need your ulti to be burning them. Another reason level 16 is a really huge spike, especially without a cleaver build, is because it gives you a ton of damage to tanks. But Renekton is actually really good at just one-shotting tanks or one-shotting support. So this E was really nice. I wish it wouldn't go back 10 seconds. I wish I could go back 5 seconds. But he E's through the Maokai here, so that he's out of Maokai W range, because Maokai wants to stop. Maokai wants to W the Renekton to escape himself, but he also wants to disengage for Bard. So we E through as Maokai W's us, which is really nice. We ulti while we're CC'd, which is also nice. We get knocked over. We didn't need to use our second E, so we don't. Very nice Bard kill. Okay, is pretty losing. So it's hard to fight dragon here without ult. Even if our team doesn't die here, it's hard to fight dragon without ults. So we'll see what we do. We don't really want to TP in here. Team's getting kind of wiped. I'm not sure what he builds next. I believe it's Cleaver. I think maybe it's Shojin actually. I think he probably goes Shojin. Because I think he was building Shojin every time here. I don't know which is better. It kind of depends on if Gragas builds armor, but they have 2 tanks on there, like 2 people building armor and a third that could potentially build armor. So I think Cleaver is a little bit better if you're not just going for like a second armor item Shojin. Maybe second item Shojin was better here. But for 4th item, I think Cleaver is a little bit better. So we give the dragon. Let's look at tab real fast. Let's see how strong we should be versus everyone. Okay, so lethality Jin. He's about to hit his 3rd item. This is, what is this Jin build? Edge of Night Yumu's into IE. Is that IE? It's this on hit action as well. Okay. We're kind of immortal versus Jin. Like when you get Death Dance and people don't have their last whispers yet, you're like actually immortal. So versus these 2 champions, even though action is really strong, we're actually going to be insanely tanky. So we'll see if that actually comes into play. We have 280 CS at 27 minutes. Is really good, especially in a losing game. That Gragas ult for Can is crazy. Okay, it looks like they're communicating around some Baron play. Maybe after these 2 waves, they want to try to start it. They don't have the best deep vision for it, but they could look to try and do it. Maokai's right there though. Yeah, they're gonna start Atacon. It's probably better. So I would be standing in the same spot, just looking to W buffer Gragas potentially. Other thing we want to play off of is a potential Blitzcrank hook. We want to be able to follow up on it right away. They're going to have Maokai ult coming in. They don't really have the damage to one-shot us off of it, so we can tank Maokai ult for our team if we need to. Yeah, so like we were positioned better before to potentially follow off the Blitzcrank, but we actually just kill Bard. And Action is in kind of a bad spot. Okay, we take the tunnel. We flash back over. Holy moly. And we're immortal versus Jin. So we kill the one guy that can kill us, and then we're just immortal versus Jin. He's popping off. The red buff helps a lot here too. God damn. That's a quadra kill. That's an unofficial quadra. Dude, it should give you more time ramping up with each kill. It's dumb that it's just 10 seconds after the 3rd kill. It should be like 15 seconds. Okay, so let's see the start of this fight again. So I would have liked to see us position with Blitzcrank for this hook. I was kind of waiting for it. But Bard walks up and we just E on Bard. Free kill. Action ends up on top of us. I don't know if he meant to portal that. To be honest, I don't know if he actually meant to portal that. But flashing back over onto the Action, I think did we stop his ult with W? I'm actually not sure. I don't think so. We just tanked it and killed his ass. Damn. So with W max and E max here in this situation were about the same. They're both actually do the same thing. But W max, I believe well, you have to actually get W off a bit earlier than this if we W the Bard or like W the Gragas. But if W is coming back up, we could flash over with Empower W right now and just stop him from ulting us at all. But the E max does half of Jin's health at the same time as we're killing Action. The damage is actually crazy. Like with these 3 items, these are what, a 70-80 item and 360-80 items. It's 180-80 from our items. They all give CDR, and then we have CDR from our runes. It's actually a lot of damage. The Messi of League. Holy moly. That fight was nice. That was really nice. Okay. So now we have Shojin. Now we have Shojin. Jesus. Our E and ulti damage at this point in the game is like actually crazy. E does so much damage. E is your highest. If you don't know, E is actually, when it's maxed out, E is actually your highest damage ability if you hit both of it. So then having Shojin stacks on top of that as well. I'm mainly focused on the E because I don't always max E. But it does do a lot of damage. And that last fight, it did half of Jin's health, which was kind of crazy. But the death stands in that last fight made him absolutely immortal. As soon as you kill the action and get the pain refresh, there's no way a Jin is ever going to hurt you. Okay, we're sieging mid, or what's going on? I wasn't really watching the map. Okay, we're 1v5. We actually not die here? Okay, we died. What actually happened? What are we doing? So we're like sieging mid. We don't actually have Baron. The wave is dying. So as soon as the wave is dying, we should probably be leaving. But Maokai W's us. Oh my god, CC's brutal. Did he get Gragas ult or Ian? I didn't actually notice which it was. So in this situation, having something like Stride Sterix would keep us alive a little bit longer, and we might live it. But yeah, without a Sterix build, you have to avoid being situations where you have to avoid pretty much every situation where you're 1v4 for even like a couple seconds, like because you're just gonna die. But with Sterix, you can survive a lot more 1v4s. And with Stride as well, you can like create stuff for your team rather than being like a cleanup carry as much. But this build, like Emax, high CDR, high damage, is a lot more of a carry cleanup type build. Our team just killed everyone. Okay, nice EO. I think tanking it would have been better though. It was good timing to E out because we can't E in, but I think if he tanks it, I guess not with a Jin W. I was thinking about tanking it and then just dashing on Gragas and just tanking tower, but not with Jin W. We would just get CC'd. What dragon are we on? 1 dragon, 1 to 2. Okay. We want Baron and dragon here. Blood thinks he's on the team. I always say we, man. I can't help it. Okay, we split it up. I think that's good. Okay, Empower W. Maybe, I don't think we can chase Jin, even with our E cooldown. You can never chase if you don't have Stride. That's one thing that Stride is a lot better at, is like chasing down carries. So like maybe there's an angle to just kill Jin here with Stride. It'd be pushing a little bit. Jin is really fast at this point in the game. But you could re-strat on him and probably leave the Gragas to Silas and maybe kill both. This was fine. Okay, we're level 18 here. Does he upgrade boots? I wouldn't upgrade boots. Although with Baron, it's not bad to just get as strong as possible. Okay, so we're coming back onto the map with Baron. They have all tier 2s up. We have Vision bot side. We're letting Silas go bot because I assume he has TP. We probably need to match one wave top lane so they can't just push top. We might just fight here. I think you just kill this guy. So we end up missing the Verisol, but I think he could kill this guy here. So he doesn't have ult yet, so maybe not. I think if he ease forward there, he doesn't auto Q, he just ease forward. I think he just kills the Maokai, but I think we're gonna kill him anyway. Dude, we just melted that guy. Hello? Like we don't have any armor pen, but I guess he has like Leandri's and he doesn't actually have that much armor, huh? And especially in competitive, the jungler, let's see that damage again. The jungler is level 14. He has like some armor from his items. And we have a red buff too. Okay, some of that damage was Varus actually. Dude, action walked melee range. Hello? Renekton's really good with red buff as well. The slow is actually just really useful for him because he struggles to just barely stay on people. And you get multiple hits with your W. So you actually do a lot with the slows. Dude, I'm not sure what the skill of these opponents is, to be honest. That action walked melee range again. He walked melee range of Renekton. That's not what you want to do. I do think action is like pretty bad late game versus Renekton, though. I can't lie. The damage on that Maokai was kind of nuts. Again, some of it was Varus, but like, and we're level 18, he's level 14. But yeah, damage is really nice. We have what, 225 AD from our items plus the tunneler. Okay, we take top tower. Did we get bot tower yet? They just spawned right now. I would walk over to bot right now. I wouldn't finish this because I think the only way you lose the game is the enemy team like fully fights right there as they're spawning and as we're like overextended. Okay, we got W off. Double E again. Dude, we're actually just unkiteable at this point. We're unkillable too. So he reached W. He gets the W buffer. Nice. Death Stance Frog. Dude, he's actually unkillable. It's disgusting. I don't think their builds are great for killing him. I think they're pretty awful for killing him. I think if you're playing as two different AD carries, you can die a lot easier here. But yeah, let's see this E cooldown. So he used his first E on the creeps. I really like this. Use your first E on the creeps, and then your second one, use as late as possible. I think we could have gotten in power W here, though. That's my only criticism, is I think we could have gotten power W. So we ulti E, and then I think it's kind of hard because he just flashes away. But if we don't get W off and we have to just save it and then dash on him after with W, I think that's also fine. But I think if we try to Q before our W, it would be best case scenario. Or auto the creeps or auto Q the creeps before we're moving over to get a bit more fury. Both of those things would have been a little bit better. Yeah, pretty nice game. I don't think it was the toughest competition, but I think the build scales insanely hard, especially since we're against a bit lower damage 80 carries. Scales super hard. The Emax went pretty hard, especially in that top lane fight. Our CSing, boss is CSing. Dude, boss makes Renekton a scaling champion because he doesn't miss any CS, no matter what. Like, he just had insane CS and was really strong, really high XP. Renekton scales really hard. Again, not necessarily full build versus a full team that has enemy builds, or full enemy team that has full builds. But Renekton scales really hard if you're ahead on XP, if you're ahead on items, or at least like even with their strongest person. Renekton scaling is actually like really big. Let's look at the damage this game. Here's him looking at his damage. 50,000 damage. We actually doubled our carries. It actually doubled this carry's damage. I was like the perfect Renekton game, you know? I was exactly where you want to play Renekton. Enemy team's low damage. They have melee champions for you to hit. And I mean, he wasn't unfocused in fights, but he's not getting like entirely focused down. That's perfect. That's the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.